Warning, the following show features stunts performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, the reality guys and producers must insist that none of these opinions be taken as facts. Now, please enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the reality guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brett.
What's up?
And first time joining us on the reality guys, my dear friend, Mike Wesley. How are you, my dude?
I'm very good. Thank you guys for having me.
As you can see in the title, we are here to talk the challenge, Ride or Dies. This is week 2, episode 2. This was Friend or Foe. We had another 90-minute episode here, guys. That was I'm very surprised, pleasantly surprised. I wonder if they're going to continue this throughout the season, but a lot did happen. Like Brett said pre-show, they really should have just called this episode Turbo is a big dum-dum, because I don't get the guy, man. I remember him being intense. I remember him getting all that kind of stuff. I remember vividly, but like, what happened to this dude? Like, where in his life did he decide that everything was so serious and everything was an affront to his life? Like, what's up with this dude?
I mean, I've been watching Turbo since, I guess, his first of 3 seasons. And I mean, he was always like that, I guess. I don't think he was as aggressive earlier, except for when he got in a fight with Jordan. But yeah, the dude's an idiot. And I feel like it was really obvious to see that he didn't want to go into elimination, but he just was, like Nani said, like his confidence was too much to admit it. And his girlfriend was just as much of a dum-dum and pushover, because she could have literally gone and been, the mouthpiece for Turbo to Nani and tried to keep him out of it. And she just kind of had his back of being an idiot.
Yeah, and she definitely tried, I think, earlier in the episode to be like, listen, he gets it, I'll talk to him, kind of deal. And it was kind of short-lived in regards to how they showed that going on. And then in the later portion where Nani is like, all right, I'm going to ask you again. He's like, I don't want to talk and all that. She's just like, I could easily say something and have a voice, but we agreed on how we're going to handle this. And that just shows, okay, I'm going to do whatever he tells me to do.
No, yeah, I was just going to say, she was right, because in the, when they actually were in the deliberation room and he's like, I'm not listening to you. She was right. Like, friends don't treat friends like that. So clearly they weren't close friends, and she's going to not have his back at that point. And she gave him another shot.
He doesn't care about anybody.
Definitely.
But 2, I do have a kind of a semi-serious question here. Does Nani not have many friends? Why does she care so much about Turbo? Why does she give a crap enough to even go and try to? He was a maniac when they were together, even working on the team. So does she not have enough friends that she feels like she really needs to fight for that friendship?
I think for me with Nani, you got to remember, this is mistaken. When he was a rookie, he was paired with Nani, and they got far. And I believe, wasn't it, they ended up on different teams, or it became an individual in the finale, and that's how Turbo won. But he wouldn't have been there without her. And I think being a rookie at that time, and I'm assuming he became famous in his native country afterwards, and that's kind of where the ego came in, where he was really kind of timid in that season where he won, and kind of just, I'm gonna do what I'm told, and we're good. There were a few blowups, but it was very small. The second season is when he kind of was like, I'm the man, respect me, without actually showing any respect.
Yeah,
because I guess he was a champion at that point, right? But I do believe he had already won Survivor Turkey before he was on the challenge.
There you go. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so he was already
which is a social game.
Yeah,
which is I mean, it
maybe
really
not
makes you
Turkey.
think, do we need to, I'm about to go watch a few old episodes that he was on. Like, did he just get lucky? Did he because they're just, or if he was one of the nice people, I need to see the militant men they had and women they had on that season, then, because that sounds like boot camp.
Yeah.
Well, thinking about it, I bet Survivor Turkey is more like old school Survivor, where they value being the strong alpha, leading the tribe and providing for the tribe and winning. So he probably just got to the end based off being the dominant dude, and people were like, oh, he's good at challenges, we should keep him in the game because he deserves it.
Bananas with a nice classic throwaway line early on during the confrontation, when he just can't understand why this guy can't get a grip. He's like, then you need to he's like, I'll see you up there. And he's like, all right, well, you're gonna have to settle down a little bit, maybe be around for a while for that to happen. Don't get yourself kicked off the show. Classic. Like, and
He got kicked off season 2, didn't he? Because of for fighting.
yeah, exactly. So like, he's like, hey, how about maybe you just calm down, bud? Like, you literally just got kicked off a season. They just chill, and he can't. He has no chill. And he's gone. I mean, we'll get to the elimination and talk in general, but like, I'm just saying, for the sake of the season, I'm happy. I don't think we needed that every week. Like, honestly, it was tiring 2 weeks in, and I didn't need that happening. And God forbid him winning a few challenges. That would have been unbearable.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Not really invested in Turbo. I'm not a big fan of the person that just blows up all the time. Is just a complete bag. So
Love the drama. Like back when I used to get on the show, like or watch the show, like I loved when CT was just like being like fighting people and stuff. And that's kind of like Turbo is trying to be, except Turbo's English not so good.
Let's kick back towards the beginning of the episode a little bit. We did get a little bit of context, which actually comes into play at the end of the episode as well. Tori talking about her and Jordan's broken engagement. Was surprised to find out that he dumped her. Didn't know that. Also, she was very open about needing help and why Devin really became her ride or dies, because he was a good friend there for her. She opened up about him being on antidepressants. I think that's really awesome. Like, brave. It sucks. Like, we've all been dumped, left. And for people, even for the challenge, even though they're not celebrities per se, like, they do live very public lives, and we watch a lot of their relationships play out on TV. And as viewers, a lot of times people end up feeling like an entitlement to know everything about their lives, and that can cause a lot of stress. And like I said, not happy that happened to them, but talk about some drama that we have coming with him showing back up, and they haven't spoken since the breakup. So like, what do you guys just feel about that whole dynamic?
I feel like we're gonna hear a lot more about it next episode. And I really just don't care.
See, so for me, I'm a big Tory fan. And I'm glad that we get to ride together. Because I popped for this when you brought up last week, kind of why you're a Tory guy, being just kind of the vicinity of where you guys grew up. That's why I'm a Devin guy. Devin is from a few towns over.
Okay.
When he's home, I see him every once in a while in my place of employment. There's a running gag about how there's nothing to do in Western Massachusetts except go to where I work. So there's that. So I'm a big Tory and Devin fan. I think that's I got big. I'm so bad with names. So they had one of the spinoffs where from Are You the One?
Are You the One? Second Chances.
Yeah.
I forget what.
Second Chances.
Yeah, I think yes, and I became huge fans of them on that one. My wife was into Are You the One? So we watched that, and that's really where I became a big fan of both of them before they became challenge members. So
no, she wasn't on it.
Oh, okay. I was trying to get on Are You the One was my ticket into the MTV Challenge world, and they canceled it before I could apply.
So
they did the dumb like come all, and everyone. Yeah. And they just canceled the show. I'm like, damn it.
So this will show how old I am. Me and my wife actually applied to be on Tool Academy season 2. And actually got through the first part of it, and they were like, "Oh, we need videos of showing why your boyfriend's a tool or whatever." And we were engaged, and we obviously most of these people plot, and we're like, "Listen, I can fake being a tool," but she became uncomfortable with the lengths we had to go to get on that show, and kind of the behavior I was suggesting, and didn't want to come off like, "Oh, this is our real life," so did not continue.
That's a good story. That's a good story.
I miss shows like that. I think that was on VH1.
Yeah,
right?
VH1 reality TV was ratchet. It was awesome, and I'm hoping that we get some kind of a swing back at it. But we may not.
I loved Money. So that was similar to the challenge.
God, yeah.
Listen, I want to create like a collective of like coming up with TV shows and stuff like that. Like if we can get this going, I'm telling you, we can come up with some of the just goofiest like reality TV shows for today, like competitions.
You never know. Speaking of competition and anti-competition, I feel bad for Nam, man. This poor dude cannot catch a goddamn break any season he ever appears on. Emmy quitting like just quick boom out, not feeling it, gone.
That was out of
And
nowhere. That
and
was
like
from
this
the
dude,
mud,
like
right?
you would think since it's happened to him so many times, they'd find him a new partner.
It was so out of nowhere, I didn't even see it.
You
I was
texted
like,
me.
I was like, wait, what just happened?
You're like, did they get kicked out? I was like, no, she just quit. You're like, hey, what? I missed like
It was so
32
quick out of the
seconds.
montage. I was like, I just turned the volume down during the montage.
They gave it like barely any screen time. They're just like, oh, she quit. She touched some mud. Mom's like, oh, see ya, and gone. And then I thought so. I knew Casey was in the rest of the season because of the trailers. So I
Yeah.
thought maybe they were going to pair Nam with Casey and have like this crazy duo. But I guess I don't even. I missed the part where her and her brother came back. So I
They
don't
came
even
back like
know.
during the challenge, like during the balancing beam thing. They were just there. They're like, oh, you can compete.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, it had to.
Oh,
That's why, like, we talked. There were so many rules. Like you were like, okay, who do you think's gonna win? I'm like, well, I know. I watched the special, so I know who the secret contestants are. And you're like, no, you can't pick them.
well, no, they were on. No, they're announced. A lot of these people that are showing up were announced. Like if you go on the cast preview, like it has.
Well, you didn't not. So since you didn't announce my pick, I'm changing it. But no, in regards to like Nani, it was so quick that they were gone. Like they didn't compete in the first challenge, if I'm not mistaken. Like I'm like, okay, wait, I've seen her and not Nani, Casey. I've seen Nani and Casey together, so they must come back. And without giving spoilers from when I was gonna come on, like obviously we wouldn't have talked about it if she didn't come back.
Yeah.
But you know, like in regards to who I think is going to win, it's kind of like one of those things like, all right, they show these people, it's easy to see things when you show previews of, okay, this person is obviously there later in the game.
That makes sense. Yeah, so Nam, Emmy gone. Very interesting. Bananas and Nany. Bananas and Nany, great first week back. Obviously, unfortunately, we talked about Nani's mother passing, and that's kind of a big motivation for her this season. You can see the game face on her. Like she is just there to play. Obviously, she's dealing with a lot, but she is there to play.
Yeah.
She doesn't suffer the crap with Michelle when Michelle tries to like sob story her and they were friends. Why would you put me in interrogation? Nany gives none of it, and even at the bar, having none of it, love it. Also love Johnny getting right back in the classic Bananas form. They win they win the weekly challenge. He smartly decides to put alliance members together with Turbo. That's a win-win situation. So what did you guys kind of just think of Johnny and Nany in their first week? I think they showed up well.
Yeah, I think they showed up in true Bananas fashion. I mean, the dude when he's there, he's the face of the show.
Yeah.
He's great in confessionals. He's great interacting with people in the house for entertainment. Just also running it, socially and being strategic. And he wins stuff. Like he literally won the first thing he was back. And Nany, I mean, as much as this was the Turbo's a Dum Dum episode, this was like the Nany empowerment episode because, like, yeah, I guess we found out her mom passed, who looked like freaking young. And then Nany just had all this, like, like I'm in charge and this is my season to win. So I guess I'll pick him as my winner pick because I can't think of anyone else to pick at this point.
Yeah, so it definitely was a very Nani centric episode in regards to like telling her story of why it's so important. Obviously, it's always important to her, but why like this is the time, and it's been built up that way in regards to like the preview episode and showing them and her really wanting to get this win and Johnny wanting to get it for her and with her and kind of like the one thing on his shoulder that he needs to redeem himself is stealing Sarah's money. So I think like for him in the back of his mind, like this is my time to be like, I can do this for me and my partner and be the hero for once. He kind of jumps in between being a face and a heel every year. You never know which way he's coming.
I don't think he gives a crap about what he did to Sarah, but I do think he really cares about Nany. And I think his motivations are not for himself this year. I agree with you in that regards. I think he's definitely going to try to play the game to win, but maybe also try to play the game to not. And this isn't what older Bananas really does, but like not trying to pick any personal fights with anybody or kind of be spiteful. He's not really, he plays the game pretty strategically now, maybe even more so than when he was younger and rising up, still winning, but definitely getting in a lot of those more arguments and stuff. I don't think that we're going to see that a ton this season.
It's hilarious to think about who Bananas is today to who he
God.
was on his first challenge episode.
Yeah.
where he like had like no presence and went home like in the first or second episode after losing.
Yeah, and I mean, even more so down the line when he was a vet and a champion, he's come a long way since CT carried him like a backpack. So there's that as well.
Could have crumbled in that from that moment on.
And that
obviously.
moment could have killed. We've seen men die from being embarrassed and never show up again. So
or being way less embarrassed than that. And
Yeah.
still like coming back. I mean, big props. That's a great point. I do want to just quickly bring up the balancing act weekly challenge, the balance beam in between the two cargo, cargo containers, having to time your jump, grab the rope, etc. Reminded me of like a round of Fall Guys. But yeah, I think overall a pretty cool challenge. The reason I brought it to make sure bring up, obviously we mentioned Bananas and Nany winning, but this will come into play later. Horatio is a player. He is here to play. He's physically fit. Seems like a nice guy. So as far as like politics and all, very shy, but like very earnest. So I think it's gonna help him right now. He's not a dick. So what did you guys think of the challenge? And then was there anyone else's performance, good or bad, that stood out to you?
yeah, I mean, in regards to the challenge, it was definitely something that when you talk about people crumbling for lesser embarrassment, some of these challenges prove I would never have been able to survive becoming one of these regular cast members in my younger years. But in regards to someone like Horatio, I believe he comes from a Latin American kind of ninja warrior type show.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he's one of those super athletic
There's like a
competitors as
CrossFitter.
well. I believe so. Something like that. Yes. But it definitely
Parkour.
shows how important it is to have your ride or die be someone you can trust, because even though it didn't look hard because the first, group made it, it quickly became, hey, this is why this is the challenge.
Yeah.
Because nobody could do it. A very few amount of people could. And it was the people who understand how these games work, understand how to work together, and understand what you need to do to make it in the challenge.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be that hard, but then
Yeah.
everyone fell, including Fessy. So I thought that was funny.
Well, Fessy
And
stinks.
he's too heavy, I guess. Yeah, he's an athlete, but couldn't do that. But yeah, I mean, I love that daily challenge. Like that stuff, I just want to like go in my backyard and do something like that. It just looks like so much fun, like a Ninja Warrior type obstacle course, crazy thing.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite types of challenges and the ones I want to do. And I think everyone messed up because they basically didn't like take the slack out of the rope. So when they swung, they kind of had a jerk on the rope and then let go. But and then Horatio, like I basically feel like since I never got on the show, they found this dude and put him on the show because I feel like I have a lot of similarities to him. We're both super athletic, both super good looking, nice guys, and terrible at approaching and talking to women. So I feel him there. And
Laurel was
and
like
everything
going to
he was
make him a
saying-
backpack. She was like, I like you. And he's like,
Yeah. Everything about that scene with Laurel, I'm like, holy crap, this is like deja vu of my real life.
just towering over him.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say if we were gonna make on some type of challenge show, I'm pretty sure the show for us is Wipeout.
yeah. Why? Yeah. I feel
I
like
would,
I would
win
bust.
Wipeout so easy.
Oh my god, yeah, I feel like that would happen so bad. Yeah, those. Let's talk about the elimination challenge now too. Ended up being Turbo and Tamara. No surprise there. He's a big jerk. Michelle and Jay pulled the immunity dagger. They save their friends. What was it, Johnny and Raven? And so the immunity challenge was straightforward, man. It was a 12 pair, flip 2 cards. If it's the same symbol, you get rid of them. If not, you have to switch. The only difference is you had to run up and above where you were. So your teammates had to, memorize the spots. I don't know why people just didn't go up and do like the first 2 spots, next 2 spots, and just knock it out, like just fast. Cause you could just be going.
Memorize instead of guess.
I would just
That's
be going
what I
up
would
the
have
first
done.
row. We're going up the first 2 right up the line. And let's see, we're going to be able to knock out a few probably. Let's do it again. Like, as opposed to trying to guess. And The one thing that I do want to bring up, get your guys' opinion on. I know Brian and Kevin's opinion on this, but how do you guys feel about the other challengers being able to like watch and help?
I think
I
it's
think
just a
it's
thing
not
you're used
fair.
to.
But you like it, Brett, or no?
I mean, I was thinking about this before we started recording, but like, I feel like it's not fair. But at the same time, like, who cares? Like, it brings the drama, I guess, and instead of just, I mean, this challenge honestly kind of sucked. Like to watch it, it was very hard to watch and to try to play along because the camera angle was terrible. So I mean, I guess them cheering them on, added just an extra like element to it instead of seeing terrible editing of them running back and
Mike,
forth,
what do you think?
trying to find these little shapes.
Yeah, I would say I agree where it's kind of not fair, but it like who cares? But at the same time, it's great for showing the social game sometimes. In the past, you get to a point where like someone needs help and you kind of like somebody says something like, oh wait, what are you doing? Like why? Like, you know what I mean? So it's good for the social game in regards to kind of the manipulation of the voting system and alliances.
I just feel like there's so much of that already in the game that we don't need it during the actual challenge. I miss, and like this was something on old challenges, I miss where it would just be everyone waiting in the house and you didn't know who was walking back through the doors, right? I miss those scenes. Those were great scenes to start episodes. And I miss that intrigue of it because the people are sweating bullets. I screwed someone. You're just sitting there. You don't even get to know if it was close, not close, blowout, like anything like that. You don't get to even basically you don't even get to do any reconnaissance on these other teams and figure out if they're super good as well. Like when they're in these situations, you just have to they come back and know the other team won. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I do like Brett's kind of sentiment. I also kind of lay on that side a little bit too, where it's like, oh, it's not fair. Tough. Just like Brian would say, it's a game show for money. Like beat it. Like whatever. Tough shit. Like really.
Yeah.
Glad that Turbo is gone. I'm interested to see the Jordan dynamic. Also, again, I just don't understand just like letting people come in weeks later as it's progressing.
Well,
like
I'm
how long are they going to do this? How many weeks in are we going to get before
I
they
think just
stop
one
bringing
more.
people
in
There
the
is at least one more.
past, they have done it halfway through the season, or there's people that we have planned, it's out of nowhere later in the game, or the redemption, like where people can come back in, type of deal. With this one, and I believe I can only assume the recording schedule for these shows is like it's 3 days per episode. It's day one is challenge, day two is deliberation and party night, day three is elimination, and then you start over for the next episode, or even condense into 2 days. So I like that it's early. I think there's more people coming than what they told us with the three teams that viewers know about. I think you're going to see someone else down the line. And we went back and forth in regards to who I think was going to win. When we talked about this, you told me I couldn't pick Banani because they're not starting the show. They're going to be coming in, and we didn't know when they were coming in. So that's why I went with Tori and Devin. But ultimately, I think
Bananas. I don't care.
Well, now I pick Bananas.
Again, you didn't understand what I said. I just said you can't pick up any secret teams, but like they weren't secret team. They were announced on the official cast list.
They were a secret. They were a secret team to
the cast,
the competitor.
Yeah,
I guess the competitors. Yeah.
I also don't believe half the cast didn't know they was there, but like whatever. Like I'm not.
Hey, you're on this plane with me.
Yeah, really, exactly.
But I actually do think the 100 surprise, like if there's a 100% surprise to everyone team, I think that would be a team. So that would be my three teams. Johnny. Oh God, I hope so. I love CT, Massachusetts baby. Walked by CT once when I was going to a Red Sox game. But I would say that a secret team, Johnny and Nani, or Tori and Devin.
It's not bad. All right. Well, I think that was everything that we were going to cover here. Please check out everything else we have going on this week on the channel. We had 2 episodes of Bachelor in Paradise. We're going to have Survivor, Amazing Race as well. Love is Blind season 3 premiered today on Netflix. So look out in the next day or two for the week 1 review. Covers the first 4 episodes. Myself, Brett, Mike, thank you. Peace.